get to know, to holler, to go, to get to know, to holler, to go, to get to know, to holler, to go. I will never get away to shadow hollow. Try let it go, and your mama not let you. It's taking a hold now, and you can't open your eyes. Try let it go, let it go.
Hello, I'm back. So February ended. We managed to get through 10 songs, but didn't get to finish all my vocals through it. So what I'm just doing now is the RPM site crashed. So this afternoon I'll be uploading the songs where they're currently at and calling the challenge a success. But also then focusing really hard on getting these vocals together. We need to get these off to down to my friend in her studio mid-month, but at the same time she would like to have them sooner than later, so I'm gonna start bouncing down and going through that process as we kind of put this together. So I think I'm gonna get really stuck into it, and you may just be like kind of witnessing and moving along with what I'm doing. But feel free to ask questions and I'll get to them when I can. But as a kind of wrap up for what we're doing today, we're going to be quickly listening through a song, then I'll quickly bounce it down into 2 segments and I'll talk that through. Then I'll sing parts to match the parts that we've kind of put down with the lyrics I've done. Then we'll go through and we'll edit those vocals, and then we'll place those vocals back into the track again. And then we will do a couple of things. One is kind of get effects and a bunch of stuff put together on it, but then also might shift some beats and stuff around, but I'll be doing those final passes probably next week instead. So yeah, lots of work. I think we've got three songs with all of the vocals here, and I've just got to get through the other 7 as quick as possible. Thing with vocals, if they don't work out, you kind of have to stop and start again, which is the worst. Which means long gaps in between things, and we kind of got the luxury to do that. Now that we have the 10 songs together and done, we really want to make sure that the emotions kind of translated. Here for Hunz saying good day brother, and good day back to you. Hope your evening, I believe, is going well. Yeah, I had a good day. Did a bunch of errands this morning. And now it's early afternoon, and I'm just gonna try and get at least the vocals. I'll set a low goal. I'll get at least the vocals in for 2 songs, and take it from there. So what songs will I work on today? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're gonna work on song 6 first, and then we're gonna go straight into song 7, and I've kind of got loose names for them at the moment. So this is that Here I Am song. There's a couple of feelings that I have about this song that will kind of get into place. Let me just save it. And then the lyrics for that song, let me just bring that up. Song 6. Oh, is that it? Nope. That's not here. Why did I not put lyrics on the end of this? Usually I put underscore lyrics. Oh, here we go. Maybe that's it. Nope. What? Are you? Okay, great. Here I am again. I know this every time I'm going to leave. And I'm going to be found speaking. So yeah, and then I'll be doing kind of like a shot through of it. Thank you so much. Ilta saying already bought the album on Bandcamp. Thank you so much. And here for Hunz, song 7. Yes, that's right. We'll run into song 7 after this as well. Yeah, if you haven't already, the album's on pre-order on Bandcamp, and thank you so much, everyone. Very, very thankful and full of support. So, what I'll do is I'll just bring up this track and refresh everyone's memory. It's this one. Oh, where I kind of say, "Here I am." I got coffee too, so I feel really good. So, can't wait to get stuck into this. So, what do I do here? I'll just run you through this, the little procedure. The first thing I'm going to do is just write a couple of notes into this actual song, and I'll bring this with this here so that you can kind of see what's going on. The first thing, we've got the theme, self-confidence, self-doubt. Then I've got here, I've just got here, oh, you won't see this, boop, on the screen, let's just roll back in here. When I was doing the pitch correction, I figured out what the keys were. So this song is in C minor, that's important to know. And the other thing that's important to know is the beats per minute, and the beats per minute is 115. Oh. Thank you for overriding my thing. C minor. Is it my insert button? Okay, there you go, cool. And we'll put the beats per minute in here. Great. So now that I've got that together, that's going to help me out because we're going to take this through a program called Melodyne in a little bit. And with this one here, I may take this through a program called Revoice Pro. I've been doing some tutorials to try and get myself up to speed again. I rarely use Revoice Pro. I'd used Melodyne a lot previously, and I just recently got Revoice Pro, and I've used it once on an artist because it produces such a different it has a different algorithm for solving like how the natural flow of things run, and it does some incredible things. Like you can time stretch stuff, and it takes the modulation, which is just the vibrato on your voice, and makes it work, like recalculates that across the length. So it's a bit cheeky, but a lot of work when we're doing this is kind of vocal restoration. Like that is ultimately a lot of the times like artists will do the most perfect take, and you're left kind of just fixing it up because they just want it to be perfect with the tone that they got. Alright, and also down below me, song 6, Here I Am, is what I'm calling that song as well. Just point out to me if things aren't updating on the screen. I've realized I've put together too many weird documentations and things to try and get that all together, and I've got lots of little programs to open up and override in text files so that everything updates on my screen. Problems with streaming, who cares? Alright, so what I'll do is I'll go through the bounce down setup with you. It's really simple. How I tend to bounce down is just when I'm doing these vocals, it's just quickly in two ways. The first is I mute all of these vocals and I just record the whole song. So I'll do this really quickly. Renoise has a bunch of options for exporting, and one of them is called offline. It's not very accurate, but it's fine for doing this kind of stuff. What I'll do here is I'll go to song 6, I'll make a new folder, and it's called Reaper because that is, oh, what's running around? No, it's not Reaper. That is the live DAW program I use. Live DAW, just the other DAW. It's you'll see it's a multi-track setup, and then I just put ints in there for instrumental, and then we'll put this to a sequence, and you'll see how fast this goes. It's just smashing through it. Not in real time, it's just bouncing it down. So the reason why I said it's not very accurate is they don't guarantee that the VSTs behave, or behave correctly. They can't guarantee that, and they kind of have a warning. They say, look, this may not render correctly. I've noticed that it's super minimal, and it's nothing that I'm really concerned about, especially in this phase. I just really ultimately want to get it out and done. So once that's done, we'll do the vocals, but I'll first take a sip of coffee. It is a beautiful overcast day today. It's perfect for doing some vocals for me, so I can't wait to kind of get that through. So I'm kind of excited about this song. The things that I'm a little bit dubious about is the verse. To me, I'll sing it as is, but there's something about it that just feels a little bit I don't know what the word would be. It's a little underwhelming or something. And not that everything needs to be thoroughly huge, but it feels lazy. And I'm going to sing it in and we'll do it that way, but I may just mess around a little bit more to do it a different way as well, if time permits. Wiggo, back to you. Wiggo says, I don't even know how you say that, but it's very fun to say. If you're sitting by yourself somewhere, you can say that, say it out aloud. It's kind of fun to say. Now I'm just going to bounce down the vocals here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put Vox in there. And let's press start. This will go a little bit faster. There's less things going on with it, so yeah. Yeah, so I will work on the chorus, the verse a little bit. The Here I Am, I'm really happy with. It opens out to really be nice and melodic. And what do I mean by that? Harmonic. There's lots of harmonies and things that roll with it. So there's a few things that I might play with. I might actually sing in the harmonies, and then we'll jump back and we might bounce down the harmonies separately so that my brain can catch what I actually wrote. I'm kind of happy with using a vocoder for a lot of this album. That will definitely make it more cohesive across all the songs. But I'm open to the fact that we may sing these in as well. Alright, so now that that's in place, I will shut down Renoise completely. Bye. Might ask to save, it didn't. And then we're going to open up Reaper, which if you get a chance, check out Reaper. It's really, really affordable. And oh, look at that, the mic's on. Yeah, so it's one of those great programs like that. What I will do is I'm just going to start a new project, and we'll start again from scratch completely. Okay, and then with this we're going to have to put in the beats per minute that we put down, so that was 115. And then I'm just going to drag in the two outputs that I did. So they went straight into Reaper. Oop, that's the wrong folder. Reaper there, and then we'll just drag these two in. And we're going to say separate tracks here.
Down to the end. All you know. Down to
So a big question people have asked, why do you do vocals in this setup? And that is because like it'll become more and more clear as we go through and what vocal takes are all about. This program just allows just the normal amount of flexibility that you need, and yeah, it just becomes apparent when you use it more, which is you can go through the vocal takes, you can select the ones that you really want, you can mix and match them, and I usually go over them 4 or 5 times. The first thing I do is once I've got this together, I'm going to go and find one of the loudest moments where I'm singing. Right now. But I think it's going to be... It's a pretty quiet song around. I think it's this moment of the song when my voice is the fullest in it. So what I'll do is I'll stick this on a loop, and then I will mute this. So this is the instrument part and this is the vocal. I'm going to insert a new track. In this track, my preferred vocal chain for this one is Nectar 3. So I'll set that up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sing and straight away put that in. Build is asking which vocoder do you use? At the moment I'm using a vocoder called Vocal Synth, and it is by Isotope as well. At the moment these guys are like, for me, they're just killing it in the in VSTs, and just that whole compromise between visual, which you can just see here, like they just own this visual area super well. And then they also do a thing where you can just add and add and add. There's no latency and a bunch of amazing things with this. What is that? Dimension? Anyway, there's a lot of things. I just got this plug and I have not played with it enough, but it has so much, so many good setups in it. Oh wow. Anyway, I've got a lot of things to mess around with on this. So Vocal Synth is a part of what this is at the moment. I think that, like, if you're really into it, that's they're pretty. They were selling it for like maybe 30% the other day, so there was 60% or 66% off or something. I don't know. It's ridiculous. So now that we have this together, I am gonna just raise my mic a bit and get it into the area in which I should be singing, but it obscures my face. Okay, and then get this in a good place. This is my little catcher is so broken. It barely just sits into place, and I think like the metal on it that bends it isn't great. But it's doing it, and that's all that matters. It's functional. Okay, that's all in place. And then what I'm going to do with this Nectar plugin is I'm just going to run it through its vocal assist. This is ML, it's machine learnt kind of tech that they're using at the moment. And I'm going to set this into vintage compression and moderate intensity. I just like that tone better. Each to their own. The modern stuff will use a solid state compressor. This uses a nice vintage tone. I'm going to turn the speakers down so that we don't hear that here. And where are you, speakers? All right. So off. Check. We'll arm this. Okay, great. So you should hear it a little double up now. And then I'm just going to test levels quickly, and then I'll drop into record mode. Can hear it all, you know. Check. So vocal wise, I haven't done a one shot. What that means is usually you spend a week kind of running through each song every night, twice or 3 times, and you start doing this thing called vocal memory, which is really important because then you know what you're doing. In my case, because we've got such little time, I've had to omit that process. So what I'm doing here is I'll be singing through this song a couple of times, trying to understand it so that I'm not surprised about where the melody's going next. And then once that's happened, we actually start recording, and I do it on the fly. It is not the best practice. What you want to do is find those nuances. There's a reason why bands take a little bit longer to kind of record music, up to about 3 months, to get 10 tracks out, because you want big gaps in between writing it and then singing vocals and doing a bunch of other things. So we're really compressing this process. So what you'll get is really raw vocals from me right now, which, what does that sound like? Pitchy, a little bit all over the place, and times where I'm kind of exposing some of those vulnerabilities. Not my favorite thing to do, but happy to do it all at the same time. kind of want to. I love that we get to archive this process. All right, so let's just make sure that this is balanced in my ears. All you know, dying to believe it, but not the show. Everything is lost. Nothing seems to ground you. Everything is gone. Here I am. I'm gonna stick this in a loop. Let me just double check that this is correct too. Here I am again. And always every time I'm dying to believe in my pantomime, and everything is lost, so nothing can be found. I'm gonna have to change some lyrics. Speaking clearly on grounds just to make. Okay, it's really super wordy. All right, we'll fix that up later. I'll see if I can get the groove for it. Welcome to Rush Riding. Again, I know this every time. I'm dying to believe it in this pantomime. Then everything is lost. Nothing can be found. Speaking clearly on grounds there, choose to make noise drowned. Here I am. So what just happened then? I ran the compression ML setup over my vocals to see where it kind of left it at. So you heard like really sharp noises of where it was kicking in and just like running the algorithm over my voice. So that's why it kind of went a little bit all over the place. So let me run through that one more time, and I'm going to stick some verb on there, get it set up how I want. Oh, ground you, everything be found. Here I am again. Here I am again. Ground you, I'm all alone. Dying to believe it in a woman's show. Everything is lost. Nothing can be found. Nothing here to ground you. Everything you know. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Nothing to be found. Everything is lost. Alright, I'm gonna just try one other way that's not capturing everything correctly. So I'll try this. Again, I know this every time. I'm dying to believe it in this pantomime. Everything is lost, so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds there,
choose to make noise drown. Here I am again. Here I am again. Oh no. You show. Here I am again. Here I am again. Here I am.
Oh man. Oh man. Alright, so I've got that at a good place, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the mic up now, and I'm going to do a thing called a one-shot, and a one-shot is singing through the whole song from beginning to end. It'll be super rusty like you just heard, and then I'm going to do it again, and it'll be super rusty again. But the idea of this is to find any connection between things and focus on how verse, chorus, and all those things merge into each other, and see if I naturally do something that kind of blends it. What you'd be doing over a long period of time is having a huge gap between writing the songs, kind of recording them down, and then doing the vocals, especially if they're all new, and you might be playing these songs live, and some new things might kind of come out of that session as you do that. So we'll be kind of doing that all together all at once. Alright, so give me a second and I'll pull this mic up, and then we'll go straight into recording mode and do these one-shots. Let's see if this is in the right spot. Just a little higher. Whoa. Okay. I think we're at a good spot now. Alright, I'm just going to put my headphones on. And then we'll go straight into record mode.
Should be able to hear me now. So this is what's getting recorded in, and then the output coming out is what Nectar's doing to my input. I'm just going to take some water. So I'm going to put, I'll jump back to this mode.
If you guys don't mind, there's going to be a bit of a double on the mic, so we'll just deal with that. I'm going to create a little moment here at the start so that I can come in correctly. So let's get that count right. You can probably hear the birds in the background. That's going to be lovely. So I'll cut this here and here, and I'm going to use this as my lead in. And we'll just put that back over here so it's just a look.
Here I am again. I know it's every time.
Alright, it's feeling better. I'm going to move that so it's all ready. So let's do this and let's talk about it once it's done. It'll be super interesting. Okay, let's record and let's roll with that. Oh, turn off this loop. Ooh, ooh, and lovely.
Here I am again. I know it's every time. I'm dying to believe it in my pantomime. everything is lost, so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds there, just to make noise drown. Here I am. Here I am again. 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 Same, those situations change. I'm crying in the deep end, but I need to rearrange. Now nothing here is lost, so everything moves on. Speaking clearly now grounds you, 'cause all of it is gone. Here I am. Here I am again. 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 I would like to think that I could always learn. I would like to think that I'd like to think that I could always learn. I'd like to think that here I am. Here I am again. 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 Here I am. So I'll stop it there. Clearly, I don't know how this is going to end. As I'm kind of singing through that, I feel like I'm going to find another melody for that Here I Am to pivot off. But let's run through it one more time. The idea of doing this is getting familiar with all the parts. You think I would be? No, I forget a lot of the music I write. So I feel like, although I know where this is going, I still don't quite understand it. Alright, let's do it again. I'm going to put a bit more verb on this. I like my vocals a little bit wetter than normal people. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am again. Oh, turn off this. Alright, let's go through it again. future brings the same. Those situations change. I'm crying in the deep end, but I need to rearrange. Now nothing here is lost, so everything moves on. Speaking clear now grounds you, 'cause all that is gone. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am I would like to think that I could always learn. I'd like to think that I could always. I'd like to think that I could always learn. I'd like to think that here I am. Here I am again. 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 Here I am. Here I
So, yeah, just kind of squeaking out those notes, kind of getting them all together. I do like that it might lift up a little bit, and the two things that I'm kind of clinging on to, is that the verses are pretty open, but the "Here I Am" kind of makes everything really staccatory, and I think that might be really nice to kind of honor through this. There's some really dud moments, like vocally, where I'll kind of need to really solidify and get in place. So let me show you what happens next. So if we just, well, I'm doing this standing up, so please let's figure that out as we go along. So we'll scroll out. I'll have a look at all of this. So here's the two one shots where my mouse is. So I'm just going to duplicate this. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh my goodness. Let's undo that. I'm just going to duplicate this, move tracks to a new sub project. Whew. Oh no. I think I really have done something great. Okay, so let's delete that. Yep. Yeah, let's delete you as well. I'll have to figure out what that is later. That's not what I do next. So we duplicate the tracks there. And then I'm just going to delete these two takes that we've done through on here. And then, is that correct? I think I screwed that up. Let me just undo all of this. There we go. Yay! Yay! Okay, let's duplicate these tracks proper now. Okay, we'll mute you. We're gonna unarm it on this side. And then... it's so hard to do standing up. We've got this. So we're gonna find a loop of where we're gonna sing over the top. And that's primarily just so that we can keep this rolling. And I'll find out where this is. It's right here, I believe. Too far. Just back here. Awesome. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through that first verse over and over again. Probably do it 4 times until I feel like it's good. At these times, it's really good to have another person present in the session that you trust. And a lot of the times, what I have to do is I'll have to listen back to it. The ears kind of fool you into thinking that it's good. And then when you listen back to it, you're like, oh, it's not that great. So let's roll through this and we'll see how we go. Before I do that, let's just do this. Boop. Data Mod, thank you so much for the follow. Huh? Alright, let's roll straight into this.
Here I am again. I know it's every time. I'm dying to believe it. In my pantomime, that everything is lost, so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds that choose to make noise drown. Here I am again. Know this every time. I'm dying to believe it. In my pantomime, then everything is lost, so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds that choose to make noise drown. Here I am again. I know this every time. I'm dying to believe it. In my pantomime, then everything is lost, so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds that choose to make noise drown. Here I am again. I know this every time. I'm dying to believe it. In my pantomime, then everything is lost, so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds that choose to make noise drown. Here I am. Next thing we're gonna do is the next verse straight after it, now that I'm kind of in that mood. You can probably hear that too, but so many instruments are left on and they're causing weird harmonics, but we're going to sing through it. If anything, it kind of makes it a little bit nicer. Future brings the same. All situations change. those situations change. I'm crying in the deep end, but I need to rearrange. Now nothing here is lost, so everything moves on. Speaking clearly now grounds you, 'cause all of it is gone. The future brings the same. Those situations change. I'm crying in the deep end, but I need to rearrange. Now nothing here is lost, so everything moves on. Speaking clearly now grounds you, 'cause all of it is gone. The future brings the same. Those situations change. I'm crying in the deep end, but I need to rearrange. Now nothing here is lost, so everything moves on. Speaking clearly now grounds you, 'cause all of it is gone. Alright. I'm crying in the deep end, but I need to rearrange. Need to rearrange. Ooh. I'll leave that alone. So I'm gonna go over to this bit now. I might do the Here I Ams actually. I'll do a bunch of these. Here I am, So a lot of takes for that.
So a lot of takes for that. The idea being, you probably heard more towards the end where I kept everything really short and concise. But then when I did the lower parts where I'm like, I kind of held on to the and the a little bit more on it. I think that'll be a nice touch kind of going into this little moment. And we'll bring those kind of a little bit more dry and feature forward as we roll through that. I did enough takes in there that I'm confident that I got a second part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll in right to the end now and see if I can find another melody. And I think it's going to be really long what we do next. But I think I'll do the, I would like to think that I could always learn kind of repetitive tone, which is such a great modest way of saying that it's really hard to change. All right, let's go into recording. So I'll go through all those later. Not quite hitting the tone, but I think there's enough kind of takes through there that we can have a look at. What I'll quickly do now is I'll do the last bit, the here I am's over there, and see if I can find something else for it. I think we'll find something to place over the top of it and see how that goes, and then I'll come back and I might do this bit again. So I think between all those different ideas, we should be able to construct something. It may not be fully realized, but it might just be fine. So I'll run through the process of what I'm going to do next, which is kind of pulling it all apart. There are these high parts that are in there, but I like them that we recorded in Renoise. That's not a sentence. I like the way they were recorded in Renoise, so I'm going to leave them. And then I think all this will fit around. I'm going to take this process now through Melodyne, and that will help grab the pitchiness but keep the emotion and pull that all together. But first thing, we're going to go through and we're going to chop together a couple of segments of good takes, and we're going to follow the cues which I use, which is called emotion, tone, and pitch. So emotion always wins, and then tone is second for me, and then the pitch is last in a line of things. And especially when we're working this fast and we're really running through it, you can hear the shakiness on some of the notes, and that is purely because vocal memory hasn't kicked in. I'm also what I would call an average singer. I don't practice daily. I know a lot of amazing singers that practice daily. It's their craft and it's what they do. For me, this is kind of a hobby. Like, it's something that I do to help like express emotion and do that stuff. So I know where I sit in the mix of things, but I do appreciate that people enjoy my tone, and the tone is never lost as we go through these processes. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that, and now we'll go through the next session. So what I'll do quickly is I'm just going to bring the mic down so I can sit down and do the rest of the edit sitting down, and then if I need to jump in with some other vocals, I'll probably do them sitting down, and in that kind of tone. So yeah, be right back. Just moving the mic down now. Ooh. Alright, so place it there. Have to thank a friend of mine for loaning me the second camera. That's why we can kind of jump up and down, so that you guys can sing along with, or see how I'm singing is more the question here. Okay, I'm going to put my speakers on, which just means things are going to get a little bit more lively as we go through these vocal takes, and you get to see that next part of the process, which is kind of interesting. This is an area in which you really have to be interested in being a part of it, or else nothing magical kind of unfolds. But you get to hear the kind of tonal differences and a bunch of other things. So appreciate it. So we'll run through here, and I'm just going to unmute. Oh, well, it's already unmuted. So we can see that I've got 4 takes through here. What I'm going to do is I'll select the first take. We'll have a listen through to it. And I am going to extend these out just a little bit, because on the head of these is the roll in of the note, which might have sounded like I sung them on this end here. But I didn't, and I'll roll these in so we don't have to listen to them. Here I am. Well, let's go up to the first take then and press play. Here I am again. So that's a rusty in. I know it's every time. That's not great either. I'm dying to believe it. In my pantomime, that everything is lost, so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds that choose to make noise drown. Okay, let's go to the next take. Here I am again. Bit of a rough in. Know this every time. That's pretty rough. I'm dying to believe it. It's nicer. In my pantomime, then everything is lost, so nothing can be found.
it. Choose to make noise drown.
Nice ending there. Let's have a listen here.
Here I am again.
That's nice. I'm just gonna listen to this first one.
Here I am again.
I prefer that one, so let's just roll with that one there.
I know this every time.
Listen to this one here.
I know this every time.
That's better. So what I'm doing here is I'm splitting it, and then with this program, you select the one you want to go with, and then it kind of like will put them all together for you. So it's nice.
I'm dying to believe it. To believe. I'm dying to believe it.
I like the drop off in the end of that.
To believe it. Dying to believe it.
I'm gonna go with this one. One that dips down.
In my pantomime. In my pantomime. In my pantomime.
I'm just gonna dry up these vocals a bit. They're too wet. Not great.
Trying to believe it. In my pantomime.
Yep, I think that one is what I enjoy there.
Then everything is lost. Everything is lost.
Ooh.
Then everything is lost.
Like that one.
So nothing can be found. So nothing can be found.
Oh, I like the change up in the pace of that one.
So nothing can be found.
Let's listen to the first one.
So nothing can be found.
Huh. Super interesting, huh? I think I'm gonna go with... let's have a listen again.
So nothing can be found.
Ooh, ooh.
So nothing can be found.
I love that lazy entrance. Let's run with that one.
Speaking clear on ground set. Choose to make noise drown. Speaking on.
It's quite a syncopated moment there. Speaking clear.
Speaking clear on ground set.
Oh, that's nice.
Choose to make noise drown. 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 Choose to make noise drown.
I actually like that last one. So once we've got this in place, what I do here is I select all of this like this, and yeah, you do it one by one, and then you right click here and we glue. Sorry, we don't. We render items as a new take, so it's grabbed all that, put it down as a take. I'm going to throw this whole thing to a new line here, so I've just duplicated it out, and then from here, if that selection was still on, then I just glue this together. And what it does is it renders this to another wave, and that's ultimately what I want here. So I can do this properties, and then I'm going to copy this. That was just where it is in the directory, and we're going to come over here and I should unarm this where I'm going to come over to this program, and we're going to load this straight into Melodyne. Now with Melodyne, what we need to do first is we just need to set up the beats per minute, which is 115. And the second thing we need to do is over on this side, you need to go through and put it in the right key. This goes a long way into helping you figure things out. So what I'll do now is I'm going to import audio, and then I'm just pasting in that link, and this is what we just were listening to. This is all the modulation. These are the notes in which it's guessing that it goes to next. I'll just turn off the lyrics for you. You kind of see that as it rolls through. So this is my wobbles. So I have a playthrough, and I'm going to show you what I'm looking for next.
Here I am again. I know this every time. I'm dying to believe it. In my pantomime. Then everything is lost. Then it is lost. so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds there, choose to make noise drown.
So that's pretty decent. We go coming in with the Melodyne, yeah. So what I do from here now is I was looking for Melodyne has a really hard time dealing with sliding notes if there's no syllables, and sometimes when they're close variants, what it does is it ends up putting the notes together. In this case, we're pretty fortunate, but see this line here, there could be a little note in there, so I'll just have a listen.
I know this every time.
There isn't, but we've kind of got 3 notes that hit in there if you listen. So
every time
we could split this roll off into one more split here, and if I press the split key, you can right click and grab it here. Just double click. You can kind of see that it's going to bring that note down, and then as you listen and the scrub head runs through, oh my goodness, come back please. I want nope, this guy, yep, and not F minor please. How easily the tables turn. We want this to be C minor, and you can kind of see what it's done. It's tried to guess the beats per minute off this. It drives me nuts, like it won't lock it into where it is. Anyway,
here I am again.
We want to put it into that mode, sorry. Oh, is that? Oh, I see what it's doing there. Note assignment mode. Interesting, that's such a different okay, cool.
Here I am again.
So from here I just do a select all, and then I snap to C minor, and then I grab all the pitch centers and I grab all the drifts, so this is all the notes in between, not the modulation yet. So this brings it into more of where the pitch is. It's kind of averaging these out, and then it kind of places it there. But sometimes we have to go through and fix it up a little bit, because see how this note's a little bit high? If we were trying to hit E flat there, what you would want to do is move that so that this all sat in the center.
I'm dying to believe.
We'll put it back.
I'm dying to believe.
So it's whether you want it to be sharp over the note or whether you don't want it to be sharp over the note. So let's have a listen through to this.
Here I am again. I know this every time. I'm dying to believe it in my pantomime. Then everything is lost, so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds there, choose to make noise drown. So with this here, I'm not, when I do this kind of vocal editing, I'm not looking to make this pitch perfect. What I'm looking to do is make sure that it's relative and it's going around the right notes, because that's what's going to leave my tone intact in the way my voice modulates. There will be times where I will go through and edit it pretty harshly, but you kind of have to pick and choose where those moments are. So for instance, with this one here, I'm probably going to look at modulating it. So by right clicking and bringing up this little menu here, you can kind of see that the modulation's completely gone from this, and I'll just show you what that sounds like. I'm dying to believe it. So we've got the T-Pain effect going on there. And so the whole idea would be is to just slightly reduce that. I'm dying slightly. I'm dying to believe it. And then as a general rule, I try really hard to keep the modulation inside that kind of note before it drifts into the next one, unless it's a really big effect. But this, I dip down over on this. Oh, you can't see that. Let me just get the hand right. Found this out the other day. So I was just circling this bit here. This stem here is rolling the note down. So what we'll kind of do is we're just slightly fixing it, and I don't want it to be harsh. I want to keep the tone in there. And
if I was an insane singer, and one of the things I put on this album was to make sure that I sung it all in and that we didn't run this over it. I'd be doing this quite differently, and I would demand that there would be probably a couple weeks of rehearsal where I could get into the vocal memory of it. But with this, I am so fine doing this. Alright, so let's have a listen.
Here I am again. I know this every time again. I know this every time. I'm dying to believe. I'm dying to believe it. In my pantomime. In my pantomime. Then everything is lost. So nothing is lost. So nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds choose to make noise drown.
So you can see the performance and my tone is still totally intact. We've kind of been able to nudge things around, keep it relative to the key. It was like, you know, in terms of performances, I think a couple of days of rehearsing through this and getting everything in the right place and really treating my vocals with the best of the abilities, drinking more water, not coffee. You should be able to get it more across the line. There's a couple things missing from it, but it's going to be fine. Like once the mix and everything kicks in together, we'll all be set. So from here, what I do is I just save this off, and I actually save it right in the folder. Oh, where are you? That is weird. I thought that was all set up. Song 6, Reaper. Okay. This is called Verse or Vox Verse 1. And I'll just save this off. Export audio, entire length, export. In that main. So from here, I'm just going to delete that every time. Oh, what happened? My delete key. It jumped off again. I got one of those gaming keyboards where you just can pull switches on and off it when you need it. It's called a Cherry MX Cherry Red keyboard. It's very nice, but it makes that really clicky noise. You have to really like that. If you don't, I'm sorry, you're hearing the clicking every time I'm typing. It's so big. Alright, so this next part we've got, I believe it might be here. It is. All situations change. So that's already sounding really nice. Same thing again, we'll listen through this, we're going to cut it up as we see fit. And then we'll go straight into Melodyne with it. I tend to work on these in chunks. I may even bring this straight into Renoise to make sure it's feeling complementary to everything, because while everything's set up, I just go through and change it all. So alright. Future brings the same. All situations change. I like that. I'm crying in the deep end, but I need to rearrange. Now nothing here is lost, so everything moves on. It's a bit sharp over the note, I can tell I'm nervous. Clear on grounds you, 'cause all it is gone. Alright, I'm just gonna do these takes one by one. Future brings the same. Future brings the same. The future brings the same. The future brings the same. I actually really like this one. It's the tone of it and the same ending really quickly is really nice. Those situations change. Situations change. Situations change. The future brings the same. All that's short and that's long, so I'm gonna leave that.
I'm crying in the deep end, in the deep end, crying in the deep end. I'm crying in the deep end.
I like that because of the lift that's happening on the end of it.
But I need to rearrange. But I need to rearrange. But I need to rearrange.
I think that's the one I want.
But I need to rearrange.
Ooh.
But I need to rearrange.
So much more clarity in that, so I'll bring that forward. Same mood.
Now nothing here is lost. Now nothing here is lost.
The pitch is all out on this,
is lost.
so we're just gonna get moved
Nothing here is
for emotion.
lost. So everything moves on.
Yeah, nice.
So nothing here is lost. So everything moves on. So everything moves on.
I like that.
Everything moves on. So everything moves on. Speaking clearly now grounds you. Cause all of it is. Speaking clearly now grounds you. Cause now grounds you. Cause all grounds you. Cause all it is gone.
I actually like that little break here.
Speaking clear on grounds you. Cause all it is gone. It is gone. Cause all of it is gone.
Too short.
All of it is gone. All of it is gone. All of it is gone.
Actually, feel like that bottom performance is more emotive than the top one. So now that I've got those together, I'm gonna do the same thing again. Just bounce that down to a track, new item, and then we'll pull that down. First one. Are you picking the first one, Wiggo, because it's more pitchy? It's more in pitch. That would be the number one reason why I would choose it over the other one. But the other one for me has more emotive delivery through it, like emotive and tone. So the metric of emotional, tonal, and pitchiness is like the order I put preferences in, because I know I can fix the pitch in it. So I'm always looking for the emotive delivery first and then the tone of it second. Like they're kind of like at a strong first for me, and then the last is kind of the pitch. But that's a luxury. But that's the luxury we have with technology. Wiggo saying, yeah, I don't know your voice really, so made a quick choice, yeah. But thanks for chiming in, that's cool. It's better than feeling like I'm speaking to a void. It's like a session with a couple of people like talking through it. So I appreciate that, man. So I'm just gonna grab this and put it down here again, and we're going to glue this together, and then we'll quickly just cue it. Go through properties, copy and paste this in. Once this is in place, I'll bring it up into Renoise and we'll drop it in and see how it sounds. So what I do here is I cleaned out the last what are you doing? I saved you and you've lost your brains. That's not great. Okay, 6 and Reaper. Okay. What I did was I cleaned out the file. And then I'm saving a new variation of it, so still at 115 and still in C minor, and then we'll import audio here. I'm just going to copy and paste that, and then we'll quickly sort it out. Oh, nice. We're going saying you're not speaking in a void. He's been watching from the start while making a little beat. Man, how's the beat going?
The future brings the same. All situations change. I'm crying in the deep end, but I need to rearrange. Nothing here is, nothing here is lost, so everything moves on. Speaking clear on grounds you, 'cause all of it is gone.
Good saying. Best melody I've made since a long time. It feels so good. Awesome, man. When this is all wrapped up, I'd love to have a listen. So select all of those again, snap to C minor. You'll see this move slightly, although it does feel like it's moving a lot, doesn't it? It is kind of slight, like it's just really... and then this, you'll see, just kind of keeps everything entangled around that note. So let's have a listen and we'll just make some corrections.
The future brings bring future brings bring future brings us up, bring future future brings us a future brings the same. All situations change. I'm crying in the deep end, but I need to rearrange. And nothing here is lost, so everything moves. Nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here is lost, so everything moves on.
We're saying, I want to make some vocal chops with your vocals. I think we're in the same key right now. Well, you know what? I was thinking of just, once these are all together, I can put a little WAV pack together and just, anyone can play with them. So once I've got these at a good place, I can quickly get that out for you. We go, if you're up for it. And I'll just I might include it in on the album, just the vocal parts. I'll just put it somewhere. It's what I did with the last album as well. I just made everything as available as possible so that people can use it.
Can clear on grounds you, 'cause all of it is gone.
Okay, so I'm just going to quickly deal with some of the modulation issues. Again, not damaging tone or anything like that. We're not being ridiculous about this. We're just helping nudge my average average vocal setups. I'm not saying that also to fish compliments. It's really good to know that a lot of talent that I've recognized in life is dependent on the amount of input you dedicate to it, and I'm under no illusion. I work with a few different artists, and you can tell where people place their emphasis, and some really amazing vocalists focus really hard on getting those areas right. I don't as much, and so I do know that if I did put more time and energy into it, I would feel better about it. But right now, it works, and it helps me get my emotions out. Alright, let's have a listen back to this, so just fix some modulation up.
The future brings the same.
Ultra Blue Shift, welcome back. Thank you for dropping in. Yeah, the time zones, man. Ultra Blue Shift said, it's been so long, stupid time zones. It has really been. And plus I've been not feeling well and tired, and my vocals, I haven't been able to record vocals properly yet, which means I've had to delay some of the final setups of the songs. So I kind of finished the 10 songs for the RPM challenge. We did it, and now I'm just running through and doing the vocals correctly, and then I will amend some of the setups for the mix. But I'm still going to continue to stream during this process and take everyone through that. And I can't wait to get the mixes back, and then I can't wait to listen to it together as a group, which I'll try really hard to make sure that it's really unified with everyone's time zones, because I find it exciting. It's like Christmas Day where you kind of put forward like an idea of a present that you want, and then you get the mix back and you're like, oh my goodness, finally I get to hear it. And then after that we'll do the mastering process, and that's a really awesome process as well, where your songs go from really great mixes to really great production after that. So I think there's a couple more a good solid week of putting vocals in, then there might be just a casual break in between as I get the mixes together, and then after that it'll be a little more on again.
All situations change, riding in the deep end.
Just pull this one down a little bit.
But I need to rearrange.
I love that double noise there. I will trim it out, but I actually really like it.
Nothing here is.
Every time, Melodyne. If you've seen my previous stream, I have such a love-hate relationship with Melodyne. So why do I have a love-hate relationship? I do UI UX, and I have such an appreciation for UI UX, so I have a lot of feelings sometimes when I use people's software, because I have a lot of opinions about how things should work. So the first thing I do is I sit down, I'm like, okay, let's just averagely use this and let's run through it. So these guys have gone for a contextual setup, which means they're trying to guess what you do every single time, and then they've got these menus here. This isn't a lesson on UI UX or even me talking about it. This is about music. Let's get into it. Let's do the musics.
So everything moves thin. Everything moves on.
See, that feels too damaged now.
Everything moves on.
That feels much better.
Speaking clear on grounds you.
That should be up one note. I knew it.
Grounds you. 'Cause all of it is gone.
So I'm really happy with that. We didn't damage it. We've just slightly nudged it around here and there. This is my favorite type of tuning through things. So we'll save this one off, and I'm going to export this one as well. Let's put that straight in to that. I have a feeling this is saving it in a random spot, and that is because I know exactly why. I have not saved this session yet, and it is saving it to my documents. I deserve it. That is what I get. 0601. Okay, I think hopefully now everything should be in a better spot. You're supposed to move it. Reaper, come on. Okay, so let's go back here. Navigating through folders. This is the best. Alright, and this is called Voxverse 2. Alright, we're in a good place. So I'm going to do the same thing. We'll just get rid of that right away. Oh, every time delete key. What are you doing to me, buddy? Okay, it's in a good place now. Okay, let's load up Renoise real quick. Boop. And I just shut down a bunch of windows that I didn't want to shut down. Nope, I don't want to rewire you. Okay, so I want you back up, and then is there an output? Yep, okay, we're in a good spot now. Alright, that was behind the scenes stuff you can't see, but man, everything just disappeared off my screen. So song 6, and we're just going to bring in the 2 verses that I've tuned, and then we'll turn off a bunch of things and just have a listen and make sure it feels right. This is a big part, and hang in there CPU, you can do this. Well, I don't think the other 2 programs will be impacting this too much, so deal with it. Put a bunch in. I manually drag these over, this is just how I choose to do it. Everyone's different, so you can kind of see the 2 here. Just drag that in there, and then do the same here. So we've got lots of reverb on that. Let's see what happens if I stick it here. I don't know where the in point is, but let's just have a go. Here I am again. I know this every time. I want to clean that up. I'm dying to believe it. In my pantomime, then everything is lost, so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds that choose to make noise. So, I don't know if you're hearing that, but to me it sounds like a person or a singer who doesn't quite know the lyrics for the song and is kind of trying to make it work. So there's a couple of things that we can do. One is get through all the other vocals and put them all together, and then we'll come back to it. But man, that sounds like, especially on the speaking clearly now, or the speaking clear on grounds that choose to make noise drown. Also, nothing can be found. There's a bunch of words in there that just feel like you're kind of compressing too much into it. So let's have a listen back to it. Here I am again. And before I do that, actually, let's just knock some of the verb off it, and get it into a different drier space. Let's get auto sequence. So this is fine for me. I'm dying to believe it. In my pantomime. Happy with this. Then everything is lost. Happy with that. So nothing can be found. Actually, this is feeling a little more in the pocket. Clear on grounds that choose to make noise drown. So I don't know what was happening before, but it sounded like this whole thing was lagging over it instead, but it feels a little more connected now, which is what I was hoping for. Let's just have a listen back to this here. It is lost, so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds that choose to make noise drown. Here I am. Okay, so if that was as laggy as it was that I heard in my ear the first time, we'd definitely be redoing that. But it's weird because I didn't, excuse me, I did hear that before, even when I was doing the take. So I'm going to let that sit for now, and we'll come back to it. But now that that's edited and put into place, we'll save on this. And now we've got to inject the second verse now. There's a bit of work I actually want to do with this song as well, like when I listen through to it. I think it could be bigger than how it's currently presenting. I can't wait to get stuck into that part of it. I do want to make sure that we don't get stuck too long in these songs either, so I'll definitely set a new cutoff point for getting all these vocals in all finalized together, so we can work to some deadline. And plus, it was gifted to me this time, and I really want to do the right thing by the beautiful person that gifted me with this time to do that. You know who you are.
The future brings the same. All situations change. I'm crying in the deep end, but I need to rearrange. Nothing here is lost, so everything moves on. Speaking clear on grounds you, 'cause all that is gone.
Great. I love that little dive at the end of that. Boom. It's so subtle, but it's there. Okay, so they're fitting in really nice, apart from not quite finding the right vocal tone for it at this point, which I might just quickly have a play with. I know this every time. Just gonna run this vocal assist over the final vocal setups. Just taking note that the person mixing this will be taking care of setting all of this stuff up. I'd be paying more attention to this. What I'm trying to do is get it to a nice tone to make sure that everything is present. So I'm not going to mess around with it much at all. So bear with me as I do this. It's not my normal flow of things, it's my normal setup to things, but not when I'm mixing. I know this every time. I'm dying to believe it in my pantomime. Then everything is lost, so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds choose to make noise. Pretty amazing that they've gotten this far with this stuff. There's a whole mastering ML machine learnt mastering setup. What's it called? It's doing massive advertising. Is it Lander? Does anyone know? Lander. But it does machine learnt mastering, and like you send it a mix and you kind of say, oh, it's these parameters and everything, and then it bounces out of an amazing like master. I still think the human ear in that is an important element for making audio great, but I know that there's certain musical styles that benefit from a machine putting it together. Just gonna try a couple of things here.
Speaking clown grounds, choose to make noise drown. I know this every time.
Yeah, it's yeah, check it out. Ultra Blues like that. It sounds really interesting. Yeah. People are raving about it though, like in terms of just getting really decent results, and it's relatively cheap. Like you can, the usual things with those setups, you kind of you pay a bunch of money and then you can kind of run mixes through it a couple of times and it spits it out. But yeah, a lot of people are really happy with it. I think with this one, I kind of want to distort the vocals out a little bit, so we're going to throw it in before the compression, and we're going to use this saturation module for that. I'm just going to hear what it does. I don't know what this is really doing, so what have we got here? Oh, okay. Wow. These guys are just insane, aren't they? And then we've got this tape, and then, oh, holy smoke. Bunch of different setups for it. Just gonna push it too hard. Oh, that sounds nice. Then everything is lost, so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds there. Just gonna wind this back and see what these do. Oh, ow, that hurts your ears. I know this every time. I'm dying to believe it in my pantomime. Then everything is lost, so nothing can be found. I actually really like the retro one. Speaking clear on grounds or the tube. There's one other thing in here which they've got dimension. I just want to have a look at this. I believe it is just a choruser. I know this every time. I'm dying to believe it in my pantomime. Then everything is lost, so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds choose to make noise. Okay, so I'm gonna send this off to our send here. But I actually don't mind those two together. Just gonna put headphones on. Then everything is lost, so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds choose to make noise drown. I know this every time. Flange is really nice on that. I'm dying to believe it in my pantomime. Then everything is lost, so nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds choose to make noise drown. I know this every time. I know this every time. I'm dying to believe it in my pantomime. Then everything is lost, so nothing can be found. Yeah, sounds really nice and warm and present. And then I do want this to feel a little bit reverby, because for this chorus I really want to dry everything up and make it feel really like straight down the line, so that the music swims around it a bit more. And then when this kicks in, it's not quite there yet. The music's not like in this kind of space. It's kind of like this, like two walls sitting between this one thing, so I want to kind of balance that out a little bit more. And then this part here will go like really widen out here, like just be really huge. Just trying to balance it. So it's going to be a little bit here and then sonically this way. And when we talk to the mixer about it, I'll definitely be writing these liner notes in. I wouldn't mind if this kind of just suddenly just like pulled apart like really big and then went boop, like straight into the middle. Oh, Oh, how nice is that
but I need
graph?
to rearrange. Nothing here is lost, so everything moves on. Speaking clear on grounds you, 'cause all it is.
One last thing I want to do with these vocals. I'm going to duplicate this whole entire chain, and then we're going to run this twice, and that may be ridiculous. But I'm going to kind of delay out some notes underneath it right now, so we'll keep it really simple. We're going to ditch all of this effect line that I had over the top of it here. So let's get rid of this one, and dimension. Let's leave all of these on. So it's on the words like time and stuff like that. So the first time I'm going to do this time, it's going to be pretty rough. I just want to see what's going on. And I'll put this in a loop, so just bear with me. And then I'll turn it off. Really short here. This is a granular echo synth thing. It slices it up 1/8 and it reverses it also. I'll make it a little bit longer here. I'll match it. This recycle button will keep it going even longer all through itself. Yeah, I'm gonna stick this through a reverb too. I mean a delay. Last thing we're going to do is this Nectar 3 has an amazing harmonizer in it, so what I'm going to do here is with these we're going to grab these two unisons and we're going to drop it down the octave, so the main one's through, this other one won't be. I'll leave it where it is at the moment and then I might adjust it, but you can see that it's got pitch variation over these two separate plus time variation as well, so you can see that it's kind of faking this idea of doing harmonies, but it does it super well. It is an effect in itself. It's missing one thing that it had previously which I really liked, which is you were allowed to adjust the formant, which is the idea that the voice goes like that a little bit and then it can go up, and that usually is what happens when you sample something down. The fulminant kind of changes a little bit. So there's, yeah, I really like that effect more. So let's have a listen to this, and this is only going to be on that reversey thing.
I know this every time. I'm dying to believe it.
You can just hear a bit more of a bit of a presence or a reverb presence underneath it. So the idea being is I'm looking for a contrast method, and that Here I Am, it's going to be really dry. It might be a slap delay on it, but it's going to be really dry and in the center. I just want to pull focus and then for the music to hit around it. I think that's what's going to make the chorus beautiful. Alright, so I'm going to litter these throughout. I'm not going to do it all the time.
I know this every time. I'm dying to believe it. In my pantomime. Believe it. In my pantomime. I know this every time. I'm dying to believe it. In my pantomime.
It's really nice there, but it's a little too much, so I'll just turn the volume down.
In my pantomime.
I might grab just the last bit of that mime word in there, see what it does.
In my pantomime.
It was so not much. Let's grab that.
In my pantomime. Then everything is lost.
I'm gonna grab that whole word.
Is lost. So nothing can is lost. Is lost. Is lost. So nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds.
Just that moment.
On grounds. On grounds. Choose to make noise drown.
And then I think noise only, not drown.
On grounds. Choose to make noise. Choose to make no.
Not.
Choose to make noise. On grounds. Choose to make noise drown.
And I think at that point there we have to turn all the effects off. As soon as Here I Am comes in, it's just like, nah, there's no atmosphere. Everything is kind of sucked out of that moment.
Here I am again. I know this every time. I'm dying to believe it. In my pantomime. Then everything is lost. So nothing can be found. Speaking clear on grounds. Choose to make noise drown. Here I am.
Okay, I'm happy with that. I'll go to the next part. Push this here. I'll bring this one more frequently.
All situations change. Things change. Things change. I'm crying in the deep end.
And
but I need to rearrange. Nothing here is lost. So everything moves on. Is lost. So everything moves on.
I might bring that in and on again.
Is lost. So everything moves on. Is lost. So everything moves on. Speaking clear on grounds you.
Just you.
On grounds you. On grounds you.
Might just do the tiniest fragment.
On grounds you. 'Cause all that is gone.
Reason for that is the track is subtracting a bit, so I think I'll start off bold. And then we'll start subtracting away from the time lengths.
I'm crying in the deep end, but I need to rearrange. Nothing here is lost, so everything moves on. Speaking clear is lost, so everything moves on. Speaking clear on grounds you. 'Cause all that is gone. On grounds you. 'Cause all that is gone. All situations change.
Actually, just took away the mute source, but it's dearly needed.
Oh, stay. Oh, stay. Oh, stay. Oh, stay. All situations change. I'm crying in the deep end, but I need to rearrange. Nothing here is lost, so everything moves on.
Alright, really happy with where those are sitting now. So I'll quickly save this and let's quickly being the keyword. Let's save, go back to the vocals and let's keep editing. Let's replace, where are we, with this one.
The future brings the same.
Okay, so next we've got the Here I Am moments. Okay, let's run through this. We've got to find 3 variations on this. Oh my goodness, I don't know if you can hear that, but there's kookaburras going off in the background. I think I mentioned before that I really like birds, and very fortunate to come from an area that has got tons of different birds, but there is like kookaburras outside and they make that noise that may be familiar with how how you've listened to Tarzan your whole life. But yeah, Monzadel is ETA on album release, and then has done some beautiful emojis where it looks like flip tables. Come on. ETA is just going through vocals now, Monzadel. Got a little bit not great, a little under the weather, and also combination with being tired, so my voice has not been an angel, and so I'm gonna spend this week getting that all together, but it will be in about 15 minutes, I think. No. I'll be putting the demos up on RPM, and the album will be probably finished early next month, which isn't great. 6 minutes. So great. Finish it. Okay, and just like that, the album's ready, everyone. I'll just quickly run this through some machine learnt like tech that I've got my hands on, and the robots will finish it for me. Monzadel asked, you mixing or someone else mixing and mastering? Someone else is mixing and mastering, so I'll talk about the person mixing it maybe in a couple of sessions time. Amazing mixer. And then someone mastering it. But what we'll do is we'll do listening parties, and I'll set them up and do some timers on them, and try and cross it over with everyone else so that we can pick the most optimal time where my European friends, my American friends, and my Australian friends can all hang out, and we can have a listen to it together, and see if we like the mixes or not. Really subjective, but it's going to be great because, of course, I'll trump everyone, of course, on opinion, but at the same time, it's a nice moment to kind of listen through it all. And then mastering will be done here in Brisbane, so it's going to be very, very quick. So yeah, I think the 22nd will have everything mixed by this month is what the idea is. Yeah, I'm so keen, like especially this song here. I can't wait to hear it in its fullness. I've got a little bit of composing to do, I think, in this song to make it more realized. But yeah, how are you doing, Monzadel? What's going on with you? Let's just get this in the right place. That means it'll be in time. I am just going to bring this back because you can kind of see here we've got this Here I Am that happens here. Oh my goodness. Here I am. So I'm going to play through these again. We're just listening for the takes, and I'm going to do this not listen through the whole thing one at a time. I'm just going to do them in these loops. Here I am. 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 Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am. Okay. Here I am. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am again. Here I am again. Here I am again. Here I am. Cool. So with this first one, I like that one a lot. So let's come through here. Like that. I think this one. Down here I started singing differently, so I'm just ignoring that for now. Monzadel has said, I'm doing good. Started school this week and currently trying to get over a cold. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear you had a cold. So many people I know have just not been feeling well, so hope that doesn't impact your learning for the week. But yeah, keen to catch up and see how school will be treating you too. It's so neat. So neat that you're doing that again. Well, not doing that again, but doing that. Can't wait to can't wait to hear what it is you learn, what you're gonna do, you know, all of those things. It's really cool. For those that don't know, Monzadel is currently playing drums for my project called 7-Bit Hero. And if Hunz was to do anything outside of this, I've asked Monzadel if he wouldn't mind playing drums for that as well, which he's shown some keen interest for. but because he's gone back to school, we'll work it around his busy school schedule. And doing that, I know all the dad questions. Thank you. Thanks. I feel like those last ones I did are too aggressive. It feels like I'm karate chopping through the words. Why didn't someone pull me up on that, huh? I'm still laughing at all the dad questions. Oh, such a good one. Oh no, my stupid headphones, they're trapped in my wheel. Oh. Recovered. So embarrassing. I mean, so pro. That's what happens. Alright, back into her arm. Okay. So we'll pull this in there. So I'm just going to create a new take from this. Surrender items as a new take. Pull this down here. We're going to do the same thing again. I'm just going to glue this all together. Come on. And we'll open this up in the other program. So this is chorus 01, and there'll be 3 of these when we kind of run through them all. So definitely need to figure out that. I just need to quickly run through this to make sure it's done it correct, but I'm pretty sure. So you can kind of see here is a prime example of why Melodyne isn't like it has a hard time detecting this. So whoa, this is the wackiest zoom. Alright, moving right along. So you've got this line here, and that's modulation. So this is me holding a note, which looks great. Over, up and down. So here we've got the slide up on there. So what I need to do is cut it at this point, and what it's going to do is it's going to guess where that note goes up to that point, and it is me bumping into falsetto, going like doing that kind of noise. On the end of that. So if I put that up, see how it's gone up there. So that will allow it to tune better on a note. And then we'll use its wacky zoom out to go out again. Okay, and then we'll press H for hand tool, but it doesn't do that because it's F1 to cycle through everything. Here again. It's done it there. Here I. So there's 2 notes in there. Here I. I'll just do this, even though we'll fix it up. So what am I looking for? Just kind of in between. So kind of there. get it just right.
Again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here, 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 here I am again. Here I am.
Another one there.
Here I am again.
So now that that's all in place, I already have this set at 115 beats per minute. It's in the key of C minor. And then here I can snap it to C minor. And then we can grab the pitch centers and do this at 100%. And it'll just make it more in tune, but not damage anything.
Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here here here
And I'm okay with making this sound a little more computery on the end of this. I did this in Renoise by hand anyway, so I'm really okay, and I'm thinking I may even auto-tune this really severely from about this point onwards, but I'm going to drop it in there quickly after this and just see what kind of sticks. So I'm really pulling it down low there. I just want to see what it sounds like when in the mix.
Again. Here again. 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 Here here I am again.
So I'm going to do something really wacky right now.
Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again.
Alright, so I am going to save this. Oh my goodness. I mean, thank you, Maladine, you're the best. What am I going to call it? Oh, it's saving it in the wrong spot. Duh, why? Let's go quick access, this and this. Thank you, save it there please, and export it. Yes. So let's just quickly bring this in here. It's good to have all of this open all at the same time. It means you can kind of mix and match and quickly update things as you want, and you can press F1 and bring up Microsoft Help. So I believe this gets triggered off at the end. So let's just have a look at where this kicks in. So I think we kick it off right here.
Choose to make noise,
No, that's too soon, buddy. Nope. Let's bring you down one more. Oh, and before I do that, let's just stick in this harmony as well.
Choose to make noise,
It's like one more beat up. How awkward.
Choose to make noise, here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am.
Okay. Just gonna listen to that again. It was quite alarming. I'm just gonna get rid of this. I think I can get rid of the last Here I Am. So let's listen to that again. I do like this change up here. Here I am again. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. I think I'll let this roll out. Here I am again. It just ends there, which is what I did on the last one. Excuse me. Or do I do it one more time? Ah, songwriting. Just think maybe I put in that last Here I Am, and then we leave that ring out. Then we'll do that. What? Why are you yawning? It's not fun. Here I am again. Here I am. Okay, and we'll find some way of softening that out. Well, let's get a second variation on that then. I won't get the effects in place for what I'm thinking just yet, but we will eventually. So we just kind of want a different variation, and I don't want. I'm not going to do the exact same one we had here. Ooh, that's what happens. But at the same time, I'm not going to match it to see whether it is, if that makes sense. Sometimes you might go through and as I'm selecting these out, just make sure you haven't selected the same ones for the second chorus. I'm not going to do that.
Here I am, here I am, here I am again,
I'm just gonna check on this last one. Great, I'll play them side by side.
Here I am, here I am, here I am again, here I am, 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 here I am again, here I am again, here I am, here I am again, here I am.
Great. So that was a quick double check, and there's one that crosses over, but that's fine. We'll render item as a new take, and then I am going to drag this whole section down here. It'll create a new track for me, and then we'll glue this together so that we've got this file. Same thing again, go to properties and copy this over, go into here, select everything, save as. Reaper Media, what are you doing every time? 6, Reaper there, come on. Chorus 2, import audio, and copy and paste this in. Great, just double check everything.
Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again.
Okay, happy with that. Same thing, select all, hit here, snap to C minor, put all these up, just do a double check on them and then adjust some of the modulation.
Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am.
I'll check this
Here
also.
I am again.
So the last thing I want to do is just make those adjustments to it just in case.
Here I am again. Here I am. again. Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am.
Whoa.
Here I am again. Here I am. Here I am. Here I am. Here I am again. Here I am. Here again. Again. Here again.
Okay, we'll save that as is. We're not using that last part, but in case we do, at least we've got something now. Save as, no, yep, export. Export, yep, and chorus to the right place, great. And let's just check this. Nope, yep. Here I put the date created. Here. Get rid of this line. Now that we know that it awkwardly starts here, we're all set. And we'll do the same for this harmonies here. Get this in.
Here I am.
So that last bit we're going to remove from the phrasing 100%. Awesome. What I might do now is I'm going to have a quick ear break, and then I'm going to split up this up a little bit into little segments. So maybe give me about 20 minutes, and then we'll go on to these next parts. The vocal work takes a while to get in place, doesn't it? Sometimes even longer than writing a song. It's truth. I don't think it took me this long to get the ideas out, as it has to record the vocals, cut them into plays, then run through. And I keep forgetting that. I really do keep forgetting that. But you kind of want to make sure they're in the right mood. And you know what? I did vocals yesterday on another song, which I can pull up quickly, actually. We're going to have a listen to it. And I'm not happy with them at all. And I want to redo the chorus. And that makes me a bad person. Well, it doesn't, but... sorry, just fill this out quickly. And let's go back up to here. I put it at 95. So, song 5. In. Have a listen to this, and the core. I think the verse is just. I've left the old vocals in, but I can bring in the new ones. Oh, I think they start the song, and then I put the other ones in for comparison. But man, I don't like them. After this, I'll have a break. What's up with those? Like, they just sound so like plain. And they sound really articulated, which is something I don't normally do. So they're gone.
And you whisper, bury your head into my side.
And this feels much better.
I'm still waiting for you to move to me. And my soul temper will point you to the fight. I said I was listening, but it was almost lost on me. It was almost lost on me. It's a lost supposed to be. It's a lost supposed to be. It's a lost supposed to be. Oh, it's a lost supposed to be. It's a lost supposed to be. It's a lost supposed to be. Oh.
So just gotta fix up with the unison, but I think the old vocals are in here and you'll just hear it. It feels so much better. Better. I really need to listen to that vocal track before I sing them in, or else it's going to be completely lost. I have to look at what's going on with that entrance. But I love that up there.
My soul temper will point you to the flight. I said I was listening, but it was almost lost on me. Oh, for this to be. Is this how love supposed to be? Is this how love supposed to be? Is this how love supposed to be? Oh, is this how love supposed to be? Is this how love supposed to be? Is this how love supposed to be? You told me I should enter. Is this how love supposed to be? Is this how love supposed to be? Is this how love supposed to be? A classic come under.
So you can kind of see it's almost there in terms of how it's all getting placed, but I can't wait. Anyway, we'll start messing with that a lot more. But the entrance for this is just so analytical and just like it just sounds so bad. Like it's got tones in there that are nice, but that ready to go, it's like it just, and it sounds really Australian. Nothing wrong with the Australian accent, but it's like, you're ready to go, mate. It's like, are you ready?
I'm ready to go.
So I can't wait to re-sing that in so it feels more in this tone.
In the words and I see the light.
So I'm gonna have to listen through it and then make sure that I'm in that tone. Awesome. Well, let's throw to this break and I will be back. It may turn into me coming back much later. I don't know at this point. We'll see how we're doing. But let's put a 20-minute on it for now, and then I'll either come back and say let's have a longer break because I'm feeling hungry. What's the time? 6ish. Alright, we'll see where we're at in 20 minutes. Alright, thanks for sticking around, and after this we'll be doing more vocals and then more vocals and even more vocals. The vocals will not stop.
'Cause I know you know every heart you break, every moment you're away. 'Cause I know you know every heart you break, every moment you're away. I've been all fine, sit down all night. Yeah, I seen trouble on my way. I'm on the way. You see I've been all fine, sit down all night. Yeah, I seen trouble on my day. I'm on the way. You see when
back in 13 minutes or back now. Back now to tell you that I'm quite hungry and I will be stopping for dinner, so I will actually end stream, but I'll be back in a couple of hours, and I'll just update that on the Twitch page. It might be like in about 2ish hours or something like that, and then we'll either continue editing this session or just go straight into some more vocals. I'm not really sure yet. Maybe fix up the other ones, but yeah. I'm just looking and I can see it kind of shimmering and shaking. I've got to get all that sorted for another time. Thank you so much for joining me for this session for song. What were we up to? Song 6. Here I am. Is another way you could call that song. Alright, thank you. I will be back in about 2ish hours, but I won't keep the stream on with an extremely long timer. We will end it and I will start it again later. Alright, see you.